is if everyone sees my screen, you should be looking at the learning management system. As administrators, you should have the same layout that I have. We have the admin option, the reports option, and my team. My team in the system, I want to point this out because it's come up a couple of times. My team is a manager task. It's a manager section of the learning management system. So most of the administrators in the learning management system, they hold a manager role within the learning management system as well. And my team is sort of a dumbed down administrative role, has limited capabilities. Basically, all you see is what you see on the My Team tab. The admin and users tab is pretty much going to be the same thing, but a lot more information. I'm not discouraging you from using the My Team tab. If that's comfortable for you, please feel free to use that tab. But be aware that the users tab under administration, under admin, does everything that My Team does and more. As an administrator, you can assign learning using the learning assignment tool. And so just some things to be aware of. But this training today is going to be focused on the custom reporting. The custom reporting was not covered in the initial online training. So I wanted to have a separate session so we could cover 2 reports that have been entered into the system. So the custom reports are going to be under the reporting section and the link custom reports. And so the reason why I wanted to have this session is to sort of relay how these can be managed and leveraged for your individual plant location and or Atlantic Power as a whole, depending on what your responsibilities are with regards to reporting. The reports as they're set up right now they have been created by another entity of me as a higher administrator, and I've shared this out with all the administrators at Atlantic Power. So first I want to familiarize you with or introduce you to the custom reporting page. This is what it looks like. All of the reports that have been shared with you or created by you will show up in this middle area. And there are also folders on the right that automatically organize data based upon type of report. So if you have a lot of reports, you can use the folders. You can also right-click, and you can create new folders specifically for yourself. And again, this is to help you organize your reports.
Dusty, are the reports emailed to us, or do we just kind of store them in that folder system?
I'm going to get to that. Okay. They can be emailed to you. The first thing that has to be done before they can be emailed to you, as a rule, they can only be emailed to the creator. And as you see, I'm the creator of this report, and if you're viewing this report in your system, you're also seeing that I'm the creator. So in order to have this emailed to you, the first thing we would do is copy the report. So I'm going to work on the transcript report first. And let me preface this by saying that you do not have to copy the report to be able to run it. If you look at the options over here on the right, we have a copy and refresh option. You also see that this report has never been run. So that just means that it's never been run by me. There could be another administrator that has run this report, but by me, it's never been run. So if I click the refresh option, It's going to put the report into a processing mode, and then after about a minute, it's going to update with the last run date. So I'll give this a minute. Refresh my page. Still processing. So whenever it's processing, you can still copy. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and copy is how we make this our own. So whenever you hit copy, the dialog is going to open to allow you to customize this report. So once you hit copy, this is now your report. It's made a copy. The original copy is still going to be there with creator Dusty Holland, but this is allowing you to create your own. So you can rename this to whatever you want. You can name this your plant location. And I'm just going to name this secondary. Like I said, this is going to be personal to you unless you share this report with other people. And as a note, when sharing custom reporting, you can only share the report with other administrators. So if you share this with someone who does not have an administrator role, they're not going to have the reporting tab, so they're not going to be able to view the report. So I'm going to rename this, and the first thing I'm going to do is save the report. And I'm also going to refresh the report. If I refresh the report, it's going to populate data into the report. And you see no data has been filtered into the report. I'm going to remove this filter, this organizational unit filter. As administrators at specific plants, you should only be able to view information of users at your plant. So if I refresh this now, it's taken away the organizational unit filter, and so all this training is now displaying. So what I would assume that since it's been a while since I set up this profile for testing purposes, I would assume that I've enrolled myself as a manager for Williams Lake, and that's why I'm receiving this these returns from Williams Lake. So you should not have to set your organizational unit filters if you're set up as a plant manager. If you're a higher administrator who administers the entire system of Atlantic Power, this is where you would set your filters. For example, you go into plant location and select your plant. Again, since I'm just Williams Lake, I'm only seeing Williams Lake. So Ron, if you went in, you should be able to see all of the plant locations. So the first tab we have is Field Filters, and this is going to let us filter any of the data that is in the report. And that said, let me back up a step. I've put in certain information in the report. So we have the user ID, which is also the email. We have first name, last name, training title, which would be, of course, the title of the training, score, transcript completed date, and the plant location. If there's any other data that you wanted to pull into the report, you have all these options over here, and you can, for example, you can look at trying to find a valid, so if I want to look at training description, I click training description, and it's added this to my report. So if I click refresh, it's going to include the training description for this item of training. And you can also remove a column, and you can drag columns around as well. And this is how I have my reporting sorted. If you start clicking on columns, it's going to add that to a sort. So let's say that I want my report sorted by user ID. I click user ID first and then training title. So it's going to first sort by user ID and then training title. If I go back to the field filters, by default, I have this set as the date. Like I want to see all the training that was completed after 1/1/2017. And all of the training from your old learning management system has been transferred over into this learning management system. So we have training history going back. If I change this to 2015, click refresh. Sometimes you have to click refresh twice. You'll see that we have training going back earlier. Do we have any questions so far? So if you wanted to share this report with other administrators, this would be the tab that you would use to share the report. And you would select the users of or the other administrators that you would want to share this report with. And so there's a question about would this report be sent to you? Yes, it can be sent to you. What you have to do is select the schedule tab, and you have to define how often you want this report run. So for example, if we wanted this run monthly, let me pull this down so we can look at the options. This is going to run at the first of, it's going to run every month on the first day at 1 p.m. Central Time. And if I select no end date, then the report's going to run until I turn off the schedule. And there should be a delivery tab here that I'll have to add in after we get off the call. But the delivery tab is going to have two options. This is going to be in your PDF that was sent out yesterday or the day before. There's an option that's called delivery, and you just select how you would want this delivered, either by a CSV file or a text file. And then whenever the report is triggered in the system, it'll send you that report. So with regards to the scheduling options, we can have this, let's say, every 3 months. We can have this every 2 months. We can have it weekly. Say we want this to be run every Monday at 1 a.m. with no end date. And this will give you the summary of when the report's going to run. If you're a lot of clients, what they use the automatic reporting for is for monthly reporting for previous months to track what training had been completed in the previous month. Mm-hmm. So, for example, this is going to run on the first day of the month every month. And with regards to the field filters, right now, information is being pulled back to January 1st, 2015. So we also have the option for last month. So this will automatically, if I refresh this, it's going to report the training that was completed last month. So whenever this report is delivered on the first of the month, it's going to pull the training data from last month. Does that make sense so far? I know it's a lot of information and it can be a little intimidating, so please feel free to ask questions.
Yeah, could you go back to that, the user one, and if I want to do one for everyone in the company, what do I have to select? Because right now I'm just getting kind of the engineering group.
Who is this?
Ron.
Oh, Ron. I'll have to look at your permissions later. You should have permissions for everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Make a note. So anyone else have any questions in regards to the reporting? So I'm going to click Save. And there are options over here for actions. There used to be an option to run a report, and that's no longer there. So to actually view the report, to view the final report, we close out from this page and we go to the main page. And you see my creator has updated to my name. And so it's finished processing. So if I go to Excel, I can print this, or I can go to Excel. I can make other edits to the report. Let me go ahead and open up an Excel document. So this is the Excel document with all the training that was completed last month. I can apply a filter, and I can sort this however I like. Sort by training title. By default, the record count limit is 5,000. If by chance you need to have more records than 5,000, there's an option to change that. We go into Edit for the report. And we can change maximum number of records to, let's say, 10,000 if you think you're going to have that much information. And the larger the report, the longer it's going to take to pull. So, for example, if I chose last year, let's say you want to, for example, you want to schedule a report, and this is going to run it's going to start on 1/1/2019. It's going to run once. Let me change the date again. I have my filter for last year. So whenever this is triggered on January 1st, 2019, it's going to pull all of my training information that was completed last year. Also want to point something out. This is very important in reference to this report. This is a common mistake that's made, or a common error. If you filter by logic, if you filter a completed date, it's only going to return training that's been completed. So if I remove the completed date and hit refresh again, it should return all the training, including training that has been assigned and not completed. This training is going to be reported in the system as in progress and registered. Registered means the user has been assigned the training, but they have not started the training. And progress means that the user has started the training, but not completed the training. So whenever you have more training assigned to your users, and you want to track who is registered, who is in progress, if you have a completed date filter, then it's going to automatically remove all the training that's registered or in progress, because the filter is being told to only report completed items. Does that make sense? So with regards to training, let's say I want to find the status. I'm going to type up here, and this is going to show that I have two options that have status. So if I click this status, training status, and click refresh, it's going to give me the training status. It's not really what I wanted to add. But let's see. Let me try transcript status. And sometimes this can be trial and error, just adding items to your report. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. See the transcript status. It's allowing me to see transcript status items completed. So if I wanted to see other options in the transcript status, I can add a filter. And there's a couple of ways I can do this. I can drag the filter up here. I can just type. See how it automatically fills in the options, and I just click transcript status. And now it says is equal to, and then we have is not equal to. So if I want to pull items in the report that are not completed, then I would choose is not equal to, and then check completed. Click refresh, and then it's going to pull items that are not considered completed within the system. These are material items. They're videos that are in the system, and they're entered into the system as what's called a material, a piece of training material that's assigned to the users. And so technically there's no completion for this. Or actually, I might be wrong. I'm sorry. Let me remove this. So if I want to look for, I'm going to add a training title filter, and I want to say starts with AP, refresh. You'll see that there are some completions in the system. For example, Chris Jones has a completion for both of these pieces of training. So I can extend my filter to transportation. And now it's showing only my transportation. I can change this is not equal to and refresh, and it will return all of the training items as long as they do not have AP transportation in the title. Is this making sense? I hope that I'm conveying that the custom reporting can be a very powerful tool with reporting, because you can filter on specific training titles, statuses, users. If we wanted to add user ID, and we'll say this is starts with a French.
I think for the most part, we look for completed at the end of every month, or at the end of every quarter, or at the end of every year.
Okay. So you would, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. You can report on the transcript status completed. I can remove this training title, and I can add a filter that's transcript status. Is equal to completed. You'll see other completed. This completed equivalent would be irrelevant. There are other items in here that aren't going to be specific to online training necessarily. But the one item that matters the most is going to be the completed. Like I said, with regards to online training, there are 3 statuses that are reported. There's completed, in progress, and registered. So this is going to show all of the completed training for A French, or for Alan French. So any questions about the transcript report? Okay, I'm going to show you I'm going to save this and close this, then we'll look at the certification report. There are a couple of things that I want to show you in regards to the certifications. And by the way, if you're not familiar with certifications or where they are in the system, they're going to be under admin. There's 2 ways to get to them. There's admin, catalog, certifications. And if you sort AP under family and click search, all of the certifications that I've been asked to enter into the system are going to be listed. The safety training is all entered as a certification with either a 1-year or a 3-year renewal. Some plants requested 3 years, some plants requested 1 year. I have categories set up for 1 year and 3 year. So if you're only interested in 1 year, you can click search, and then it will filter to only your 1 year. So if you do not see a piece of training or a certification in here that you're interested in, then or that you need, please let me know. With regards to the other way in which you would find certifications, it would be under certification management. And certification management is where you are going to assign the certifications to your users. So if, for example, I wanted to assign Arc Flash Hazard Basics to my users, I would click this orange icon with the plus sign, select Assign and Approve Certification, search for my plant location, I think I was Williams Lake. Then all of the Williams Lake users are going to be listed. And if I don't want someone to receive this assignment, then I just uncheck their name. I'm going to cancel out of this because I do not want to complete this registration. And so if I want to see users that have that are enrolled in a specific certification, I click the View User icon. So the two main options that we're looking at on this page are the two users. The blue and green guy are going to allow you to view the certification or view the users in a certification. And the orange guy with the plus sign is going to allow you to add users. So a few different statuses to pay attention to on this page. This shows all the users that have been entered into the basic rigging principles. And it's showing certified and in progress. And certified means that currently the user meets the specified requirements for the certification. In progress means that they've entered into a renewal period, which means that in the next 6 months, they will need to complete the training. And then there's an expired status. If they do not complete the training within that specific amount of time, they will enter into an expired status. So whenever Mark Allen completes his training, the associated training with basic rigging principles, it will enter him into a certified renewal in progress status. And then his certification date will be, I believe it's 3 years after, or 1 year after, depending on whatever the renewal requirements are. It'll be that time period after his completion. So 1 year or 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. So any questions about the certifications before I jump into the custom reporting for the certifications? Not sure if everyone was aware that the certifications were available for safety training. Okay, so have a few more minutes. I want to look at the custom report for certifications. That's arranged a little bit differently. It's a different type of custom report. If you're just looking at specific types of training or training specifically like online training, when I say online training, I mean courses, individual courses that you're reporting on. The transcript report is going to be your most valuable report. If you're reporting on a curriculum, I don't have this built in for an example, but there is a curriculum report that's available. It works very similarly to the certification report. The only difference is the certification report is going to have an expiration associated with it. So to make modifications to the certification report, the first thing I want to do is copy the report. I'm going to rename this report. Save. I'm going to remove this organizational unit filter because it doesn't apply to me. And no results are being returned, probably because there aren't any employees at Williams Lake that have been assigned a certification. So what I'm going to do, just to show you a more effective example, I'm going to log in as a hire administrator. And show you the same report. Just have to figure out which one of me created the report. Oh, these are training completions. My apologies. Okay, so this is the certification report. This is going to show the certification title, and it's probably going to be easiest if I print this report. So I'm going to close this, or actually view it as Excel. You're going to have the same filtering options available in the certification report that you have with the transcript report. So the filters are going to be the same. I just wanted to go over how the data is presented in the certifications, because it can be a little bit confusing if you don't know what you're looking at. I'm going to apply a filter. And let's say I only want to look at basic rigging principles. Now, each user, if they are certified, they are going to have 2 rows of data. And the first row is going to be when basically when the training was assigned, and then their expiration date. So anyone that's certified, they're going to have 2 rows. This is in progress, so there's only 1 row. So I can also look at just certified users, uncheck in progress. So this will allow, this is a report that's showing all of my users that have, that are certified with basic rigging principles. If I clear my filters, you'll see I have lots of other certifications that are available. This is probably going to look different for each administrator because this should be filtered to your specific plant, unless you're an administrator. And Ron, I understand that I need to update the filters on that for you.
Yeah, but I think for the most part, as long as the administrator runs a report for their plant, you know, it will show all the courses they've taken, completed, if there was a certification or just the safety or any course, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it will.
I think that's what the majority of them are going to be looking for. Marianne or Denise or Joe, have you guys been able to do that yet? Or?
Yeah, I built it yesterday, went through, had Dusty help me. I was just running a report right now. As he was doing it, I was copying and making one just to, you know, I got to do to learn. But it's all in there. It's good stuff. It's really easy. I don't have, when I export it to Excel though, I don't have the little search functions there, so I guess I got to make it into a table and I can sort them, but it's not a big deal.
Well, the search functionality, let me show you what I do. You select the row that you want to apply the filters to, and then you go to sort and filter, and you just click filter. And it adds these little drop-down options that allow you to sort data.
Okay. All right. So it's quicker than making a table.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. Like you said, it's pretty accessible, and it's an incredibly powerful tool once you get comfortable with it and filtering your data and ultimately with the custom reporting, this can make your life a little bit easier if you know what you want to report, how often you want to report it, and you set automation. Then, you know, for example, I have reports. I have about 2 different reports that come to my email first thing Monday morning, and I don't have to go into the system and see, because we do SOC Ed reporting for NERC, and like I don't have to log in and see who's completed training in the last week because it's automatically emailed to me, and then I just report that data to SOC Ed. So you know, there's a lot that can be done with the custom reporting, and so yeah, do y'all have any? Yes.
I was going to say the one thing that you showed me that I thought was handy is if you put people in with the certificate or the, what do we call those, you know, versus just a transcript, the certificates are renewable based off of a time, unlike the transcripts, correct?
Yes, the certifications, they do renew based upon the settings for the individual certificates, and I believe as administrators you have the ability to copy a certification.
Yeah, I just went through on the ones you built and added them, and then but the nice thing is once you build it all, then you don't have to go in every year and redo it. It just keeps running every year, and I think that's probably the way most people would want it set up. And then if you wanted to add something specific later on, then you could do that by selecting, say, a one-time transcript deal and assign it to your people.
Right. The certifications are kind of should be a one and done thing for an administrator. The certifications are going to have a piece of training associated with them. So, for example, if I open up Arc Flash Hazard Basics and click the edit icon, go to Framework, it's going to show me the training that's associated with that. So you assign the certification to the user, and the certification will look and see whether or not the user has completed the training in the last 6 months. If they have not completed the training, then they will be in an in-progress status until they complete the training, and then they'll be considered certified. And then the way the scheduling is set for this, after 11 months, they will enter into their renewal period. So they will have a 1-month renewal period before they expire. So the duration of this certification is 1 year. So they become certified. Let's say they become certified on January 1st. On December 1st, they will enter into a renewal period, and they will receive an email from the system letting them know that they have entered into a renewal period, and they have to they have 1 month to complete the training, or they'll become expired. If they do not complete the training by December 31st, then on January 1st, they will enter into an expired status. And they'll receive an email about that as well. But yeah, this should be automated where users are automatically receiving notifications from the system. And in addition to the custom report, I prefer this custom reports, but we do have, you should have a certification report as well. So if you want to, it's pretty self-explanatory. You pick your plant location, pick the certification title, and then you print or export the report. It's not as robust as the custom reporting, but it is another report option that's available. So we got a few more minutes. Does anybody else have any questions or anything that you'd like me to cover that isn't reporting related?